What I'm using here, this is just a piece of old wood that I found in my garden and let dry out completely. This is a bit of fossilized wood. I love that. This is a hagstone. Thank you, Claire, for sending this to me, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And also, you can buy relatively cheaply, I think these cost me £1.99 for all of those, some ceramic pebbles. Now, I like to use a gloss varnish for this, and this wooden one, I will give this probably 3 coats and let the varnish dry for a couple of hours in between each coat, and then at the end, for the last coat, I'll let it dry overnight for the wood. For the fossilized stone, this will probably be fine after 2 coats. It's not as porous, nowhere near as porous, it's stone, and it's going to cure really nicely and shiny in the first couple of coats. And the same for the hagstone. Well, I've just realised that this looks a little bit like a seahorse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Dremel and see if I can make this little bit of wood look a little bit more like a seahorse and see what happens. So I'm not going to do a detailed piece here. What I'm going to be doing, a black pen on there isn't going to work, is it? Let's get a white pen. So I want quite a crude seahorse because, well, I'm quite a crude carver. So I'm going to bring it out here and then do some like ridges going around it as well. And we can see how that works. Well, there we go. I think that does look a bit more like a seahorse. It's actually still captured its original shape, but I quite like that. I might just bring that head bit in there, and that's all I'm going to do. So there we go. I've brought that in a little bit, and I think that actually gives it a bit more character. Only trouble is, I've now got to go and varnish this and wait for it to dry before I can do the next stage. So now these are all lovely and dry, and they've been drying for well over 24 hours. It's really important to make sure they're dry. I'm now going to get them prepped, ready for soldering and putting together. I'm using this copper foil, and I've used this in lots of projects. I used to do an awful lot of stained glass work before I started YouTube. I'm going to level that off where I want it to end. Don't touch the sticky of this, because if you do, it kind of stops it sticking, a bit like anything else. There we go. So that's overlapped there. And before I go any further, what I'm going to do is take my bone folder or FID, whatever you want to call it, and make sure that there's a really good connection. And you can see it ever so easy once you've got a good connection between whatever you're connecting to and your foil. The better connection you have, the better it will be. So don't miss out this step. This is quite a robust material, this copper, so you can be quite firm with it. There we go. You can see that that is very well connected to that. Now, you could leave that like that and just attach your clasp onto there, which I'll show you how to do in a minute. But I don't want to do that. I'm going to put another one going across it. That's going to be the back. And this copper foil is so useful for so many different things. I make a lot of jewellery with it. Like I say, I used to do a lot of stained glass with it, making little like Tiffany lamps and things like that. I use it an awful lot for jewellery making, pictures, mirrors, all that sort of thing. And it's not expensive. I will link it in the description below, so if you want to get hold of it, you can. So that's now lovely and well adhered to that. And now I will move on and have like a little production line go in. My piece of wood is actually still drying. So this hagstone, which is meant to bring you good luck, I'm going to wrap around. Again, starting at the back. Because it's got its own natural hole, I'm going to pop that in there like that. And wrap that round there like that. And again, push that down. So that's very well adhered to there now. If I wanted to, I could put another couple of bits through that, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it like this. Now, these ceramic stones, they work really well, and you can get so many different sizes of these. Again, relatively cheap. I'm going to clean it first with some alcohol and let that dry. Won't take seconds to dry. And now I'm going to put my copper foil on there, like that, and make sure as I'm going round that I'm squeezing it down and pulling it fairly tight, because that way you get a much better finish. And now, once again, I'm going to go around and burnish that down. And if like here, it hasn't lined up quite as well as I want it to, I can trim that bit off so that when I solder it, I've got a nice finish to it. There we go. So it's all got a really nice finish to it. And I've got a few more here that I've done. I might as well do them all at the same time. Now I've got to wait for the other piece to dry before I can continue that. So I'll be back in a sec. So this one's finished now and I've given it a varnish. I'm not going to wrap copper foil around this, but I am going to make a jump ring for it to put through the top of its head. So I need to drill into this a hole to be able to put the jump ring through, and then I'm going to make the jump ring and solder that up so it doesn't get lost. And I'm going to quickly show you how to do that because it's so easy to make your own jump rings and to solder them up. So you will need a soldering iron. I've got one here. Again, not expensive. I use it all the time. And I need to turn it on. If not, it won't come on. And I want to stick that up quite high. And we will let that get ready to solder. Now, I only ever use lead-free solder for everything I do. I know some people say, oh, it doesn't work as well, or it's not as good, or whatever. But I don't care. To me, it's much safer. And these have got to be next to the skin. I don't want lead on them. So that's why I use lead-free solder. These things are just little extra hands that you can use. Make life a little bit easier to hold things when you're soldering. I might use them, I might not. But at least I've connected them if I do need to use them. So my soldering iron is getting to temperature. I'm happy with that. These are all ready. Before I start, what I'm going to do is just give this copper a quick rub down with a little bit of wire wool. And that cleans up any tarnish that's on there, allows your solder to stick to it. Try not to touch it once you've done this with your hands. Then I'm going to take some flux. This is such an important step. You can't solder without using flux. And I'm going to put some of that flux all the way over that. And now all I need to do is melt my solder onto there. I put some onto my soldering iron. Normally I use a bigger tip than this, but unfortunately I can't find my large tip solder iron. Now the more you put on, the more of a dome you can have, or you can have it a nice flat finish. And if you want a nice flat finish, how I do it is I get my solder melted like that, get it on, and then I just run the edge of the solder iron across it, and then it will give you a nicer flat finish. But I actually like texture in mine as opposed to having it flat. So I'll put it on, and then I will lift it and make some texture in it, but without having any sharp bits on it. You don't want to leave any points or any sharp bits. And this will cover, and it'll only cover where that foil is. It won't stick to anything else. Now I've got a sharp bit there, so all I'm doing is putting my solder iron on it and letting it flatten out. The back I will do a lot smoother because that's the bit that's going to go against the skin. I'm going to quickly just do the back of this one in the same sort of method. And then once that's done, I'll show you how I'm going to put a jump ring on it. So as I said, this is the back. So I want this back nice and smooth. So all I'm going to do is lay the edge of my soldering iron on there until it starts to melt that solder, and then slowly bring it forward. And there we go. We've got a much smoother finish than we have on that side. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do these two in exactly the same way, and then I'll show you how I'm going to put the jump rings on. Well, they're all ready now, as you can see. So that's got the nice cross going across it. The back is lovely and smooth. That's got the solder going all the way around. And that one has got the solder going all the way around as well. We will have to clean up this solder, but that's easily done. And I'll quickly show you how to do that at the end. Now what I'm going to do is take some copper wire. And it does need to be either copper wire or silver wire. You can't use aluminium or anything like that because the actual solder won't stick to it. Before I do anything else, I'm just going to give it a bit of a clean with some 00 wire wool. Don't take seconds to do. And now I'm going to choose what size I want my jump rings. I'm going to make a couple of sizes. I've shown this in videos before. All I do is get a bit of wooden dowel like this and wrap my wire around it. And then you could use a jewellery saw if you wanted to. I don't. I tend to do it quite quickly, and then I cut them off with my metal cutters. These are the flush cut ones. I'm not sure if that's going to fit into this, but let's have a look. Oh yeah, it is perfect. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to make sure those ends are clean using a file. So all I'm going to do now is just file these two ends. That makes sure they're nice and clean. I'm not going to touch them. Now they need to be touching. They shouldn't have a gap in them. So they're actually really close together now, and they're touching. And this is where I'm going to use my little second hands. Bring that closer to me, like that. Get some flux, put a little bit of flux on there like that. Now I only need a tiny weeny bit of solder for this one. So I've got some solder here, and it's exactly the same solder. I've just cut it into smaller pieces. Get my solder iron, pick that up, and put that on there. Now I'm going to leave that a few seconds because I'm going to silver the whole ring. And because I know that that copper ring is lovely and clean, where I used the wool, all I'm going to do now is give that a quick coating of this silver solder all the way around. Just gives it a bit more character, I think. So there we go, that's finished. We've just got to clean that up. That is not going to come off that piece of wood. It's nice and soldered on there. Now for these ones, I'm going to do it slightly differently. So I've cut a large one, a large jump ring for this, as you can see here. And I'm going to fit that onto there like that. I'll open it up a little bit more. So what I'll do is I will put this into my second hand like that. And then I will bring my stone up to it and solder it. And that's that side done. So that's on there permanently now. I can smooth all these bits out as I go along if I want, if I've got solder somewhere where I didn't want it. And then I can do the same thing with that as I did with the other one. And then that's all nice and silver as well. And for this one, that's going to be really easy. All I want on that one is a small jump ring. So I've got a small bit of dowel here, and I'll just quickly make a small jump ring. And I'm adjusting that so it is absolutely touching that. I'm going to put a bit of flux on there. Actually, I want it going that way. I've put a bit of flux on there. All I need to do is get a bit of solder in there. And then I can do exactly the same thing if I want to. I can make that nice and silver. So I'm going to do that. Now, it's a lot easier if you're using silver jump rings, but I can't afford them because you don't have to do this bit. But unfortunately, I can't afford them at the moment. So if you'd like to buy me a coffee to help me buy all these sorts of things, then the link for that is in the description below. It really is appreciated, and it all goes towards this channel. So thank you. So there we go. We've got a silver piece on that. And then I'll do exactly the same for that. And then I'll show you what they all look like with a cord on them. Well, these are all done now and all finished. I am absolutely in love with the way that one has come out. I don't know if it looks like a seahorse or not. I think it looks more like perhaps a sea monster. But it's just a piece of wood I picked up along the road, and it has come out really well. I think it looks great with that cord on it. Yeah, I'm really pleased with that one. That's the hagstone. Again, the varnish makes it look great. You could wear that either way. I think I'd probably wear it that way round because it gives it such a nice finish. That's on there permanently. That's not going to go anywhere. Same with the fossilized wood. I think that's come out really pretty. The back is lovely and smooth, and the front has got a bit of texture to it. And again, that is not going to go anywhere. That is on there permanently. These cords are without a doubt the best sort of cord to put on these. And there's that one. You could wear it that way round, so the flat bit was against your skin, or however you want to wear it. I think they've come out really well. So easy to do. To be honest, they're all just a variation of this, and this is a very, very old technique of being able to bind and wrap any sort of stone, and it always gives a great effect. You don't have to put the one going across there. You could have had one going across that way, or however you wanted it. But again, on there permanently, and they're going to look great and fun on. Which one do you like the best? I would love to know which one you'd like the best, and if you're going to have a go at it. It's literally, all it is just thinking, I'm going to try that today, and you will find you will be able to do it so easily. There's no real skill involved in this, so you don't have to worry. Boot that like button, hit that subscribe button, but most of all, enjoy your crafting. Take care. Bye.